Hey guys, Angie Green here. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about what is going on in our household. Um, so much going on. I'm sure you can relate. This is a really busy time of year. If you have kids are going to go back to school. You're trying to get in the groove after vacation and summer mode, and there's new sports and activities starting, and it's just a lot. There's a lot going on this time of year. And for us, we've had some major changes happen in our life over the past, year, two. We've been dealing with, a struggle. And so on top of everything else with that, my husband recently took a football coaching position for high school. And let me say, even before that, we are still in the end of our first year where we are trying to figure this transition out since he left his full-time job and he's now at home helping with the business. So we're still trying to figure that out. He gets a great opportunity for a football coaching position that he accepts. Brandon's getting ready to go back to school. It's just a lot. We are totally overwhelmed right now. And, we are thankful that we are in a position where we own our own business and we can control our schedule. But nonetheless, irregardless, that's how we feel right now. Our house is chaotic. And I'm sure that you can relate because there's many times where your house is super chaotic too. It's crazy right now. We are barely keeping our head above water. Our business is getting ready to launch in the UK in the middle of October, so we're super busy preparing for that. We're handling our current team that we have. I could go on and on. I'm not going to bore you with everything that we have going on in our life because I know that you're dealing with the same stuff too. And we're just trying to really do the best that we can, which is why I'm coming to you live while I'm cooking dinner, and the reason why my phone is currently sitting on top of a box of nacho chips. Like, I have no time for organization. You just have to make do. So in case you're wondering why I'm cooking, or what I'm cooking, by the way, we are having taco night. So I have this seasoned, this is just chicken that I'm going to simmer while I talk to you guys. I have some beef that I already prepared over there. It's grass-fed beef, peppers, and some coconut oil. And this chicken is simmering in some chicken stock with some Flavor God taco seasoning. Super good. So I'm going to let that simmer while I chat with you guys. Okay, so when you are feeling times of overwhelm, particularly the phase in our life that we are in right now, it's really easy to get caught up and, more anxiety, more stress in your life. And so when this happens with Steve and I, these are some things that we have discovered together that we think really can help other families who go through times of overwhelmment. So I'm just going to give you 3 tips, maybe 4. I wrote some down. First of all, you can't always, but when appropriate, you need to anticipate the change. So if you're entering a season of the year that is going to be busy, let's say you're an accountant, you're a full-time, working dad, and you're also an accountant, tax season is always your busiest time of the year. For this particular situation with Steve picking up this new football position was not really a thing that we had anticipated, so we had to make do within the time frame that we discovered that he was going to take that position and hopefully be accepted. So if you can anticipate, though, it's so much easier knowing that you're about to have more on your plate, that your schedule's going to have to change, and you can prepare and plan ahead for that. Like I said, sometimes that's out of your control. And so that's why I said 3 to 4 tips, because this tip might not even apply to you, because you might have big changes that happen in your life that you just don't anticipate. And sometimes the unfortunate events in our life happen, which are things that we don't anticipate, accidents, illness in the family, death, which is really, really unfortunate. But if there's going to be a job change or, an activity change or a change in the schedule, typically you can anticipate that stuff and you can plan ahead knowing that you can figure out how you're going to rearrange your household rather than just having that bomb be dropped on you. That creates more stress and anxiety in your life. So what I recommend that you do is sit down with your family or sit down with your partner or your roommate or whoever you're living with, and we actually get out a 12-year calendar. So part of my role with Beachbody is I typically go out and film every other month, and those dates were known in advance. So we start with a blank calendar. We X out, any non-negotiable activities like my travel schedule. He'll X out certain days of football season, things that we know are just a crazy time for us. So we know we can't schedule certain activities. We certainly can't take a trip. You know, any big activities that your kids are in, like for every year. We hope that Brennan will qualify for a certain world tournament for karate. We X that out, so we know that that's a non-negotiable date that we cannot work with. So that's my first tip. And the second tip that I have for you is when you're planning, just make sure that you communicate. And so, you know, this week, like I said, has been really crazy and we're feeling overwhelmed, and it can create anxiety and stress in your relationship. And so, you know, I find myself like nipping at Steve more, getting mad at him if he's not getting certain business things done because he's prioritizing his time to work on football plays because that's a priority right now. And the reason for this video is because I was nitpicking at him today, and he said, Angie, we've got a lot going on and we're doing the best that we can. And so once he said that to me, I was like, you know, so true. That's so right. And so you just need to do a better job of, oh, hi, honey. I was just talking about you on Facebook. And then,
Is this Snapchat?
No, this is Facebook Live. And so I started cooking, and he went downstairs and worked out, and, you know, feeling less stressed, I'm sure, and feeling a little better. But, you know, it's so important to keep those lines of communication open. So if you do have a lot going on in your life and you are in a busy season, do you feel good? You just worked out? It's important to keep those lines of communication open with each other, so it doesn't lead to, you know, more stress in the relationship or an argument or whatever. Okay, I have two more. Number 3 is prioritize. So if you are approaching a busy season where you have a lot going on in your life, I'm sorry, I have to stir. You have to prioritize. So something that is helpful for me that I learned from my mentor, Chalene Johnson, when I was working full-time and going through a divorce and starting this business that I now work full-time. She said, I want you to get out a piece of paper and a pen, and I want you to make a list of everything that you have going on right now. Everything. And I was like, well, I don't have that much going on. But once I started making the list, I realized I had a ton going on. I was teaching classes, I was working full-time, I was, you know, obviously the sole caregiver for my son. I was trying to build this business, I was traveling on the weekends. So whatever it is, you need to make a list. And sometimes you don't really think about everything that you have going on until you start writing down, oh, that's right, I volunteer for my church on Tuesdays, or I coach Little League on Thursdays. You know, make a whole list of everything that you have going on. And then see what takes priority. And I remember her saying to me, once you add something to your plate, if it's important enough, you've got to remove something else, because if it's a priority, you really have to make time for that. So, you know, maybe that's something that Steve and I have to do now that our schedule is busier, is figuring out what can we temporarily remove from our plate until our schedule opens up. And then the last tip that I have for you is when you are feeling times of overwhelmment and your schedule is busy and you're just in, you know, a crazy season of your life, don't be afraid to say no. Because I used to be the kind of person, I was a yes person. And so again, when I look back, when I was trying to build this business, which was a huge priority for me, I was still doing everything else, I was a yes person. So somebody would call me and say, hey, can you pick up my class? Can you sub this class for you? Yes, sure, no problem. Hey, can you bake cookies tomorrow for the school function? Yes, no problem, I can do that. And I was, yes, yes, yes. And so then I started feeling angry. You know, why are these people asking me to do stuff when they know I'm busy? And I realized I was angry at myself for saying yes. So I developed a really easy system. If it makes you uncomfortable to say no right away, even though you know you probably should say no, you can just respond when somebody asks you to do a favor or volunteer or buy this or sub that. You know, you can just say, I need to check my schedule. Can I get back to you on that? And so that has helped me, because then I can go home, take a breath, I can truly look at my schedule and make the best decision if it's a priority, or I can then reply via email or phone call or text and say, you know what, I'm so sorry, I'm not able to do this. And people who know you will respect you for that. So, yep, SB, it's really hard to do, but I will tell you it gets easier because I started feeling so much better about myself, because I knew that I was truly making the best decisions for myself and my family when I wasn't able to say yes to something just out of pressure or guilt. I stopped feeling that, and I started feeling more in control of my life because I knew I was doing what was best for my family and for me. So I hope that helps you guys. Feel free to comment below if you have more questions. You can always message me if you need specific advice about this area. I'm no expert. I'm just sharing, what I've learned and what works for me. So thanks for watching, and feel free to share this video too if you know anyone, which I'm sure you do, who is feeling overwhelmed. All right, thanks you guys. Bye-bye.